Micawber by John Lithgow, illustrated by C.F. Payne. To Margie, may you be an inspiration to us all. One Sunday in springtime, Micawber rose from his Central Park carousel nest. He straightened his whiskers and polished his nose, and set off for the place he loved best. He scampered past pigeons and poodles and geese, past boathouse and bandshell and zoo, past joggers and skaters and mounted police, to a place on Fifth Avenue. For inside was a splendid collection of art, a sight for a squirrel to treasure, a feast every week for his eyes and his heart, which Micawber could savor at leisure. Through the windows he'd gaze at Van Dyck and Van Gogh, appraise every Rembrandt and Titan. He would scrutinize Rubens, peruse each Rousseau, inspect each Lautrec and Croissant and Moreau. He would find a new favorite each time he would go, and nobody charged him admission. But a stranger appeared this particular day as Micawber peered down through a skylight. She stood at an easel beneath a Monet that depicted a haystack at twilight. Micawber observed her for hours on end, as she copied each texture and shade. He noted the stroke of each brush she'd extend, the rare concentration and care she'd expend. She'd become his unwittingly and unknowingly friend by the time the day started to fade. So he hid in the box where her paints were all stowed, while she bicycled home unawares. Then he sneaked himself into her modest abode as she hauled her equipment upstairs. From the box after midnight, the stowaway crept, stretched his limbs and adjusted his eyes, and while his beguiler contently slept, he rifled through all her supplies. Where's Micawber? Micawber's dull life with its tedious toils all at once seemed 100 times duller, as he straddled a pallet and squeezed out some oils and discovered the wonders of color. Micawber looks happy. He dabbed at a canvas with comedian green, employing his tail as a brush, then magenta, vermilion, ultramarine, Algerian crimson, and bright tangerine. Such a radiant rainbow he'd never seen, so splashy and lavish and lush. By morning, Micawber was finally done, and so proud that he practically fainted. He'd been looking at paintings from day number 1, but never a painting he'd painted. As the sunlight poured in, he was ready to go, leaving everything just as he found it. Through the transom he scrambled, his canvas in tow, rolled up with a shoelace tied round it. A truck trundled by as Micawber alit. On the side it said Park Sanitation. He bounded aboard it, ignoring the grit, and completed his peregrination. He returned 30 times by the following fall, and all the paintings poured forth like a geyser. He fastened them all to his living room wall, and the woman was never the wiser. So, if some July you should chance to pass by a Verdilian Central Park dale, Look around for a squirrel with a gleam in his eye and some paint on the tip of his tail. There's Micawber. And if you should visit the old carousel, look up at its uppermost part. Inside, although nobody ever could tell, a talented squirrel continues to dwell. And if you try, you can picture it, clear as a bell. Micawber's Museum of Art.